Okay, so today's presentation is on Google versus Microsoft programs. So we will be comparing these two programs today. So getting started with Microsoft Office. So a brief introduction. Microsoft Office was first launched on August 1st, 1988. It is a paid-for, downloadable set of applications designed for a variety of functions, such as organizing data or creating documents. Since its inception, Office has become a staple in every workspace due to the effectiveness of its software and is used by over 1 billion people worldwide. Services can either be bought or through a bundle, and it has since developed programs dedicated to video editing, databases, and visual design. Now, a brief introduction of Google Workspace. So it was developed by Google and released in 2006. It is an internet-based storage program. So Google Workspace allows users to store all their files online, which is the cloud, and access them remotely using a Wi-Fi connection. Its initial release consisted of Gmail, Contacts, and Calendar, and Meets. It has since expanded into other services such as document creation and spreadsheets. Workspace is available for free to any person with a Google account and has offered resources for school boards and businesses as well. So Google Workspace products are Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. And Microsoft Office products are Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Excel. So now we'll be going over the similarities between Google Docs and Microsoft Word. So both of these programs are word processors designed to edit and create documents, as well as utilize different file formats. Both applications share similar interfaces and features, including adjusting formatting, fonts, and document layout. Both programs have pre-made templates for cover letters, resumes, invitations, and more for other occasions, which can be really helpful. Both of the applications support online collaboration, and both have offline compatibility to some extent. Now we'll be going over the similarities between Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint. So both of these programs are mainly used for creating slideshows, presentations that are comprised of information being displayed on still frames. Both of these applications can import pre-made templates from third-party sites or use their own. Both applications contain many of the same features and formatting, such as presentation mode for slides and adding special effects for transitions. Both applications can be shared between different people and users and can be exported into different slide formats. So slides made on either program can be used on the other. So if you make a Google Slides presentation, you can download it as a Microsoft PowerPoint. And if you create a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, you can convert it into a Google Slides presentation. Now I'll be going over the similarities between Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel. So both of these programs are designed for making and editing spreadsheets, a computer form that is created to tabulate and store data. Both applications can input data into graphs to visualize findings. Both of the applications utilize similar commands, so keyboard inputs which simulate calculations on an individual cell. And a cell is one part of the spreadsheet. Both of the applications have autofill, which can assist with filling in the cells, and both applications contain a similar format, which allows users who know one to be able to use their knowledge on another. Now we'll be going over some main differences that set Google Workspace apart from Microsoft Office applications. So Google automatically saves any changes done to a document and can be accessed from any computer because it is rooted in the cloud. However, it is entirely reliant on an internet connection to function. So without Wi-Fi, none of the user's file can be accessed or edited except for those that were saved for offline editing. On the other hand, almost all Microsoft Office products can exist independently without an internet connection. So this allows for the application to be used offline. However, this means that the user must save their projects frequently to make sure no progress is lost. So Microsoft Word, well, all the Microsoft Office applications, they don't automatically save your work. So we'll have to go and manually save them so your work isn't lost. Oops. Yeah. Now I'll be briefly going over Google Docs. So saving, as previously mentioned, since it is connected to the internet during most times, it records any change made to the document. This is useful for finding out who made a change and at one time, and users can revert the document they were working on to previous point in its history, as if you were rewinding time. So you can go to a previous history of your document, and you can also revert the document to the previous document. Collaboration in Google Docs. So in Google Docs, multiple users can work on the same document at a time. So all users have access to the document, and any changes that they will make will be recorded. So you can, in the document history. Think of it as one piece of paper everyone can write with and can view at any time. This makes it easier for groups working on a project to stay organized. And on the other hand, Microsoft Word. So I'll be going over some features of Microsoft Word now. It has existed far longer than Google Docs and has had time to refine its features. This has come to be the Word's greatest strength. Word has much better editing capabilities and controls over features that Docs does not. These include more fonts, templates, and formatting options. So you can, while Word does not automatically save documents, it can be bought anywhere without an internet connection. While Docs does have offline editing, Word was designed around this fact and was not added on later. Users can write while in their car, a train, a restaurant, or any place without a Wi-Fi connection. You can also edit on the go, although sharing and collaboration is limited. So on Word, it's all offline and you don't need to, so on Google Docs, you have to save it and you have to manually turn on offline editing. But on Microsoft Word, it is all offline, so you don't need to manually turn on or off anything. Yeah, so now I'll be talking about Microsoft PowerPoint. So special effects in Microsoft PowerPoint. Transition effects are one of the coolest parts of presentations. PowerPoint has a large library of effects, allowing users to decorate their projects and make them look clean and exciting. Although Slides has the same features, PowerPoint's collection overshadows that of Slides. So PowerPoint has a lot more features and tools to offer compared to Google Slides. Some exclusive features are of Microsoft PowerPoint. There is a plethora of exclusive features provided by PowerPoint. Users can insert their own custom animations and 3D models. There's also the Microsoft Designer tool, which is an AI, artificial intelligence algorithm that offers suggestions to the user in order to make their presentation more appealing. Google Slides, on the other hand, with Wi-Fi connection, you can insert YouTube videos or other online content into one of your slides, allowing you to present that media to an audience during your presentation. You can even stream music or post videos. Ease of use. Although PowerPoint is more technically advanced, Google Slides' simple format makes it easy for beginners to try out. There are many tutorials available online to view. If anyone has used other free Google Workspace applications, they can find themselves using Slides with relative ease, as it shares its text and editing formats with Docs, Sheets, and other Google softwares. Excel. So it's another Microsoft Office program. Excel is definitely the choice of experts and data analysts looking for a reliable software to use for managing information. Sorting and filtering through information within the spreadsheet is more intuitive in Excel, and it can also hold more cells than sheets. Sheets can hold approximately 5 million cells, while Excel can hold more than 17 billion, allowing for a wider data storage. So as you can see in this picture, all of these small rectangles, that's one cell. So Sheets can hold about 5 million of those, where Excel can hold more than 17 billion. So Microsoft Excel support. So there are many formulas embedded in Excel's programming, which can't be done with Sheets commands. Excel is designed to cater to engineers, designers, and professionals who work with data frequently. Many workplaces also use Excel exclusively, meaning learning how to use Excel is not only useful as a skill, but as a trait to highlight on a job application. Google Sheets, on the other hand, is connected to the rest of Google's other applications, allowing users to input data they have in their spreadsheets into Google Docs or other files. This is a feature exclusive to Sheets. This feature is useful for showing data that you have gathered on a slideshow or importing findings from an experiment onto paper. So you can transfer a Google Sheet. So let's say you made a graph on Google Sheets and you can transfer it onto a Google Docs or a Google Slides or any of the Google applications. Inserting graphs on Google Sheets. The ability to insert graphs from data gathered from Sheets is an extension of the first point. All the data that is inserted can be put into a nice graph of users' choosing. They can select which graph fits the data the best, from bar graph to a pie chart. That graph can be imported onto other Google platforms or be downloaded by the user. Any changes made to the data can be automatically updated in every instance where the data was being used, allowing for convenience. So if you make a change into the data of a graph, so Google Sheets will automatically change the graph with the new data. So which one should you consider when you're choosing? So some pros and cons of Microsoft Office. Some pros are that it is suited towards professionals and business-minded people. It has more technical features, better formatting and user interface. Microsoft Office operates well without an internet connection and on the go. And documents can be stored on external devices. Some cons can include it requires either a one-time payment or a monthly fee for continued use. Some applications either lack proper online support or can't exist online at all. And projects must be manually saved as opposed to automatically. Some pros and cons of Google Workspace are it is free to use. It's connected to the internet, meaning progress is constantly being saved. You don't have to manually save your documents. It is accessible to more people and newcomers, and it allows for easier collaboration between different users on a project. Some cons can be it relies on internet, so it means offline usage is limited. Storage is limited to 15 gigabytes. Any additional data requires a payment plan. So all your documents from Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides, all those saved to your Google Drive, which is limited to 15 gigabytes. And features are surface level, and it may not be designed to fit as well as Office to the needs of professionals. So some other Microsoft apps include Microsoft Outlook, which is an email service, Microsoft OneNote, which is an app for note-taking, and Microsoft Teams. So it's for messaging and video calls. Some Google apps include Google Meet, which is for conferencing, which is similar to Microsoft Teams, Google Forms, which is for survey making, and Gmail, which is like Microsoft Outlook, Gmail service. And now I will be giving a live demo of two applications. So I will be comparing Google Docs and Microsoft Word. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so this is my Google home screen. To access all the Google programs, all you have to do is go on this 9 dots square logo, and it'll give you all the Google apps. So if you hover over it, it says Google Apps. Yeah, so I will be going over Google Docs. So I just click on Google Docs, and here's my Google Docs homepage. So Google Docs offers templates, as I mentioned in the presentation. So if I just click on template gallery here, it'll give me a bunch of templates to choose from. So there is essay templates, there are reports, class notes, there's also letters, resumes, and a bunch of others to offer. So I will be choosing this template called Pet Resume, and I just click on it, and it'll make me a copy of my own. So this is my Google Docs workspace. On the top left corner, I can rename my doc. So I will call it Cyber Seniors Live Demo. And I just press enter, and it renames the document for me. And on top here, we have a bunch of options. So you have an option to undo, you have an option to redo the text, you have an option to print your doc. You can also do a spelling and grammar check. So it'll basically edit your document for you, and it'll show you all the suggestions. So I can just accept it, and it'll tell me my document looks good. There's also an option to make your screen bigger. So I think, so yes, for preference, you can make your screen bigger or smaller. You can also fit it to the screen, if that helps. There's also an option for different text styles. So there's normal text, title, subtitles, heading, heading 1, heading 2. You have an option to change the font. You can increase your font size and decrease it. You can also manually set your font size. You can like type it. You can make your text, you can bold it, you can italics, there's underline, you can change the text color, you can highlight it. So all these features are common between all Google Workspace applications. You have an option to insert a link. You can add a comment, so which is really useful when you're editing your document. You can just add a comment. Let's say, just a comment. Let's say change pet name, and you can just comment that. And when you're done using that comment, you can just check it and it'll disappear. You also have an option to insert an image. So you can insert an image from your computer. You can search the web from your drive, photos, by a link, or you can just use camera. Oops. You have an option to align. So center align, left align, right align, and justify. You have an option. So this is for line and paragraph spacing. So if you want your line single spaced, double spaced, if you want to add a space before paragraphs, remove space after paragraph. Let's say you're writing an essay and you want to indent the first line of the next paragraph. This is the option you need to go for. There's also a checklist feature, which I'm pretty sure Google added recently. So you can add a checklist. Let's say, hi, and when you're done, it just checks it out for you. There's also, you can add bullet points. So you have a bunch of options to choose from. Different bullet points. You can add a numbered list. And there's also indenting, so you can decrease or increase the indent. If you click here, it'll give you more options, which is clear all the formatting. So if I click on this, it'll undo all the formatting I have done so far. If I go on here, it says last edit was seconds ago. So if I hover over it, it says open version history. So if I click on it, it'll show me all the previous versions of the document. So this is the current version. It says August. I just made this document right now. So this is the current version. And if I click on this, it'll show me the previous version. So in the current version, it says I changed these words from the previous version. Yeah, so if I want to restore this copy, it gives me an option, restore this version. And if I just click on it, it'll take me back to the very first original version of my document. There's also an option to share. So Google Docs. So if I just click share, I can add people. So I just add email address. So let's say I'm sharing it with my teacher. I can decide if I want the person I'm sharing it with to view my document, to comment on it, or to edit it. And I can also send a message with my documents. And you also have an option. So if you go on edit here, you can cut, copy, paste all those options with your text. If you go on view, it gives you an option to view your document in print layout. You can view it in editing mode, suggesting mode, or viewing mode. So if I go here, so right now I'm on editing mode, so I can edit right now. If I go on suggesting mode, I will be able to suggest. So this is like when you're, let's say, editing your paragraph. So if I just remove this, it'll add a suggestion for me. It says delete, yeah, that. And if I take this suggestion, I press click like on the check mark, and it'll remove it for me. And there's also the viewing mode. So this is just final viewing mode. Yeah, I'll go back to editing now. There's also a ruler. So it'll show you a ruler for line indenting. You can also see the document on outline, which is very useful sometimes if your documents are very long. It can also show you the equation toolbar, so you can add equations here. And section breaks, which they're not in this document. And if you want to get rid of these, you can just click on them again and they will disappear. Okay, the next thing is insert. So here you have an option to insert a bunch of things. You can insert images, a table. You can insert drawings, charts. So here you can see, you can insert a chart, so like a graph from Google Sheets. So if I just click on it, it'll take me to Google Sheets and I can create my graph there, and transfer it to my Google Doc. I can also insert a horizontal line. I can insert date, footnotes, special characters, equations, header and footers. I can insert page numbers, so it gives me an option, different page number options. I can insert a page break, a column break, section break. I can insert a link, comment. I can insert a bookmark and a table of contents. There are some other formatting options here. So there's text options. So most of these options are already here. So yeah, you don't really need to like click on format and come all the way here. You can add header and footers, page numbers, and page orientations. There are also some tools which Google Docs offers. So there's spelling and grammar check. It'll also tell you your word count. So it shows me how many pages my document is, how many words, characters, and characters excluding spaces. There's also, so Google Docs gives you suggested edits, so you can review those. You can compare two documents. You can add citations. There's also a really cool explore feature where it'll show you all the things you're talking about on your Google Doc. So this is not English, but if I click on it, on a word, it'll take me to a Google homepage. Well, yeah, it'll show me web results of that word, which is really cool. There's also dictionary. You can also translate the document in different languages. There's also voice typing. So I'll talk and it'll type it for me, script editor, and other accessibility settings. And if you need help, you just click on help and it'll show you all the things, yeah, whatever you need help with. And now I will be going over Microsoft Word. This is how my Word looks like. So I just search Microsoft Word here and it'll take me to my Microsoft Word homepage. So here, if you want to look at templates, you can, so it gives you these templates. So welcome to Word. So if you're using Word for the first time, it gives you a tour. There is single-spaced blank template. There's blue, gray resume template, snapshot, calendar. There's an option for more templates. So you can find more templates here. It also, it says suggested searches. So let's say we want a business-related template. It has thousands of templates. So Google Docs has very limited templates, but Microsoft Word, on the other hand, has a bunch for every topic. So as you can see, these are all the business templates here. I can find resumes and cover letters. It has thousands of templates based on that. So I'll be going back to home and I will start off with a blank document. So this is, all the editing is very similar. Similar to Google Docs. So you have all the options to change the text, font. You have options to bold, italics, underline. There's also strike through. So let's say I write hello. I write hello and I can select it and it'll strike through it. Yeah, so there's also subscript and superscript. You have an option to increase and decrease font size. So all the same features as Google Docs. You have all the paragraph styles here, all the font styles as similar to Google Docs. You have an option to find text or other content in the document. So so let's say I write hello here, it'll find me all the hellos in the document, highlight them. There's also find and replace. So let's say I want to replace all the hellos to hi in my document. So I just go here, so we'll say find. So we're finding all the hellos in the document and we're replacing them with hi. And if I do replace all, it replaced all my hellos to hi, which is a really cool feature. There's also dictate, which is voice typing, and an editor, and you can also reuse files. So you can find and reuse parts of other documents within this document, which Google Docs does not offer. You can insert you can insert pictures, tables, shapes, icons, 3D models. You can also insert Wikipedia links, which Google Docs does not offer. You can also insert symbol equations, which is very similar to Google Docs. You can, so all of these features are basically related to Google Docs. Some of them are different, for example, word art. So let's say I want to type, so Google Docs does not offer this feature. So so this is called the word art. There's oops. Yeah, so there's also, if I go to draw, Microsoft Word also offers drawing. So these are all the drawing tools. So you have the marker. It also has an option to draw with touch. So if you have a touchscreen computer, or a stylus you're working with, you can draw like this. So my computer is actually touchscreen, so I can just draw it. You also have an option called ink to shape. So it automatically converts ink drawings to shapes. It converts equations. So let's say I draw pi here. Okay, that was a very bad pi. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. If I draw pi here, it'll find me a pi symbol based on my drawing. Yeah, this is not working right now, but there's also a drawing canvas. So it draws you a space to draw in. And this is your eraser. So you can just erase your drawings, so this is completely different. So Google Docs does not offer anything like this. There's also design, which Google Docs does not offer. So there's a bunch of different themes you can add to your document. So all of these different themes. You can add color palettes to your document. So there's a bunch of colors options. There's also fonts, paragraph spacing. So Google Docs offered that too. There's also theme effects. So yeah, you can add those as well. There's also an option to add a watermark. So you can add watermarks. Let's say this confidential watermark. And you can also add page borders. So you have a bunch of different styles to choose from for page borders. And if I do OK, it'll add me a page border. There's also layout options. So here you can manually add spacing, indents, breaks, line numbers. You can add margins, orientation, size, columns. So as you can already tell, in Microsoft Word, it's more advanced and there's a bunch of options, whereas Google Docs is more basic and for like beginner daily use. And this is more for professionals. You can also add references. So you can insert citations in different types of formats. So you can add bibliographies in all the different formats. So there's APA, Chicago format. You can add your own bibliography, which is really like cool feature and very useful. You can insert captions for images. You can insert tables of figures, which is basically a table. And there's also you can mark citations. There's also an acronym. So it displays definitions found for acronyms in the document. There's also a mailing option. So you can create an envelope or a label for your mail. You can add recipients. You can edit the recipients list. You can also write. So all of these options are for writing and inserting fields. So you can highlight merge fields, address, blog, greeting line. So basically everything you need for an email. There. So this like section is for previewing results. So you can plug information from your recipient list into the merge fields to see how the finished document will look like. Yeah, so basically you're previewing your document and there's the finish and merge. So you just send the email. It'll open a new email tab for you. There's also a reviewing option, which is basically viewing your document the final time, which is similar to the like viewing section. So there was editing, suggesting, and viewing. So this is similar to the viewing in Google Docs. So there's the editor. There's also the dictionary. You have word count. You can read it aloud. So it will read aloud the text for me. So let's say I wrote this and it'll read it aloud for me. There's also, so you can check the accessibility, you can check the language, so you can translate and check like proofreading that language. You can add a new comment, so which is similar to suggesting on Google Docs and commenting. There's also, you can also track your changes, which is like history, version history in Google Docs. You can compare two different documents. You can like protect it. You can restrict editing. So it says you can limit how much others can edit and format the document. There's also a resume assistant, which Google Docs does not have. So you can see suggestions from LinkedIn to help you upgrade your resume. And you can also link it to OneNote, which is an excellent note-taking app. And so this basically concludes our presentation today.